Hello everybody, Boom Up Engineering here, and I'd like to talk to you about, well, these things. What are they? Snap hooks. What I know them to be are snap hooks, and some of these are shackle or carabiners, but you'll find them at the ends of lanyards that you'd use for climbing trees, arborist work. I am a beginning arborist, self-taught. Every day, every time I climb, I learn something new and get more experience, but I'm not a professional, meaning I don't do this for money, and I don't work with other people. I can only watch YouTube videos, and here coming in March, maybe I'll go watch some climbing championships in Chattanooga, Tennessee. But until then, I know by what I have done personally and watching other videos by the likes of August Tunneke, seems to be a real good one, climbing arborist, Strider Trees, Educated Climber, Buck and Billy Ray, all those guys. They've been instrumental in me trying to learn the ropes, literally, and trying to figure out what gear I need and what works and what doesn't work. But back to the lanyards and snap hooks. I'm familiar with hooks like this from the construction industry. I'm a rigging engineer. I go on projects. They go up hundreds of feet high, and I'm wearing fall protection. I'm tied off 6 feet on up off the ground, and yeah, very familiar with typical steel snap hooks and things used in construction industry. Very robust. These are just a small snap hook like you'd be connecting to a D-ring on your belt, or maybe a rat line up in a building that you're working on, or maybe got the big steel pelican hooks, whatever. I mean, they're all shapes and sizes, but very familiar snap hook. When you start getting into climbing, everybody wants lightweight and better portability. When you're climbing under your own power up trees, yeah, you don't want to be packing any unnecessary weight that you don't have to. So we've got these aluminum snap hooks. Anytime I buy a pre-made lanyard, it's got sewed ends on it, got the eyes already made, seems like this is what they come with. This is I guess a double locking snap hook. You have to push in the back here, this formed locking piece. It's got a channel that this pin rides in, and there's a little bit of a bit of a notch there that the pin will sit in, so you have to push that in to get the latch to open. So that's a double locking. You got to push that in, and then there's a spring that resists opening, so that's double. And that seems to be very common. Now this one here is an ISC. This is a Arbo Space branded snap hook. I don't know if anybody's heard of Arbo Space, but I've ordered quite a bit from them. They're in Florida and I'm in Tennessee, so they're reasonably close. I don't have to pay sales tax, but they seem to be a real nice shop. Got some good prices. They're willing to help you out, make it right, do custom work for you. Yeah, they've treated me well. But anyway, Arbo Space snap hook and an ISC. ISC seems to be a big name in snap hooks. And what I will say here is that this used to be a triple action snap hook. Right now it's in a double action mode. Push in the back, open the gate. I ground down the rivet there and removed the third locking mechanism. Now if you watch Climbing Arborist, he has an account where his triple action ISC snap hook jammed, and what I believed happened is when it jammed, it allowed this gate to hang open. And so what must have happened is that the thin sheet metal piece here got jammed under this piece, maybe pushing it up against the red here, and it caused enough friction to have this whole mechanism get jammed open. So when he was spiking up a tree, he was going up and up and up, and then all of a sudden this hook was flapping in the breeze. So obviously scared the bejeebers out of him. And so because of that, and I didn't like the fussiness of trying to push on two different little safeties to get this hooked open, I carefully ground the pin off and removed that. Now this is pretty much a new harness. I don't know if I've really even used it. I have a few harnesses for me and the boys, and just haven't gotten into this one yet. But what I expect to do is probably replace this with something else anyway. You can see, Notch, they make similar hooks. They look nearly identical. This one apparently used a different spring. I pulled that extra safety piece off, and that's what it looks versus the ISC. But form, fit, and function, all about the same. I will comment. I will say that these hooks are very easy to open in the double action form and triple. Like say, trying to hit the little latch there, the one that's missing. I didn't like it so much, and so I tried it. I've tried it without them, but like I say, I'm gonna probably end up replacing these snap hooks. So, what do you replace them with? Obviously you can grab a carabiner and put any carabiner you want in there, from a double or triple action carabiner or screw lock, whatever you like. One thing that I will say about carabiners is that I like these DMM Ceros, I believe they are, carabiners. This is a quick lock where it's a twist and open, and that is in contrast to the triple lock, which is a twist, push up, and open. That triple lock, again, to me, that's getting a little bit fussy, up in a tree trying to do something, and I want to unclip the end of my lanyard and reroute my lanyard, and seems like I'm struggling more than I like sometimes to try to get onto that sleeve there and get this thing unlocked. I mean, I wouldn't be using this one specifically, but you know what I mean with the triple action. So I've sometimes spent the extra money or shopped around until I could find a few of these quick locks, and I like them, and everybody's needs are different, and this fits my needs. So I like the shape of these. It has a nice big spine back here to put in the palm of your hand. It has the wire spring clip here to retain your lanyard nicely, and it's just a nice shape. And these aren't crazy expensive. If you shop around, maybe 25 bucks or so, give or take. So yeah, I really like those for maybe swapping out some of these snap hooks. And just to me, I mean, I don't know, maybe, I guess that would be nice to have some feedback. What do people feel more comfortable with? I only know what I know, and everybody else has different experience, or they hear different stories and whatnot. So I'd like to hear some feedback on that. I guess that's one reason for me making this video. There's all sorts of things you could put at the end of the lanyard. I think this is a CT. Yeah, this carabiner here, I thought it'd be good for putting on my saw lanyard because it's kind of got a big ring, so I'd put that on my saw lanyard, and it would make a nice, bigger target to hit my saw hook. But it has the triple locking action there, which I don't really like. So what I'm probably going to end up doing, and again, you guys make your own life choices, but I'm going to take the little die grinder, carbide bit, carefully nip off that corner there so that it's a lot easier to have this thing push itself up as I twist it. Let me show you the DMM. Is it focused? It's not really focused, but you can ease the ramp there if you want. I'm a rigging engineer. I do a lot of things that, I have a lot of people's lives in my hands, and in the end, you got to do what you're comfortable with. One type of carabiner I like, if it's going to be orientated in this way, it seems to me that these Rock Exotica Roccos are a better deal for a triple action, because you pull the sleeve down and then rotate clockwise. That seems a lot more natural, but that's only good if I'm using my right hand. If this is on the end of a lanyard and it's wrapped around a tree and it's back to my belt, now I'm back to trying to push that sleeve up to get the gate open, and that's no good in my mind. I don't want to be dealing with that when I'm up in a tree all the time. And yeah, I mean, with practice you'll get better, but I just don't. It's not a necessary hassle in my mind. So I'm doing something about it by buying the Kwiklock. So what I'm going to do here is swap out the notch snap hook. I mean, it's kind of ugly with that notch there. It's always an ugly reminder that I modified my own equipment. So I'm going to cut this thing off. So let me grab something here. I think this will make quick work of it. So we've got the old Knickknacks bolt cutters. Yeah, good size here, so shouldn't have any trouble in powering through this little bit of aluminum here. Let's just get that on there. All right. Wow, that's going to take more force than I thought. All right, what do we got thus far? Look, it chunked out a little piece of aluminum. Now that aluminum is maybe a little more resilient than I had expected. You know, aluminum can be kind of brittle, I guess, compared to typical steels, but it's still holding on. So we're going to take another bite at it from the other side. Try not to break anything besides the snap. All right. Success. Notch snap hook delete has been initiated. And what do I want to put on there? I think this is a DMM yoke director. What I like about the director is that it's nice and compact. It's not good if you want a lot of weight at the end of your lanyard to be swinging it up over branches and whatnot. So yeah, I guess you got to choose what you want. It'll definitely save some weight. It is compact. The thing I like about compact is if you're abusing your equipment like a lot of people do, and you got this at the end of your lanyard and you choke it around a tree trunk, sort of like that, what is that doing to the shackle? Okay, so the shackle is going to be bearing against the tree because it's a cylindrical object. It's going to be bearing down on the gate and the spine. And it's going to be putting a bending force on there. Side loading the carabiner, you might call it. And that's, that's frowned upon. Now, the shorter you make your shackle, the less of a deal that is. As carabiners get longer, and when they bear around the cylinder, there's going to be more leverage on that shackle to give it a bad time. And you're not supposed to do it, but a lot of times it happens. So hey, why not make it as friendly to the carabiner as possible? This is a very short snap hook or shackle. And then the connection point is right there, so that helps even more than some of these. You get to be pretty far out when you're going around the shackle body, so that's why we're going to put this on there. So I've got the bolts already loosened up. I was playing around with this before. One thing I don't have handy at the moment is some Loctite. This thing is brand new. This snap is brand new, and there's no Loctite on this little screw right there. This little screw is a safety to hold this bolt head in there. We'll thread that bolt out so you can see, but this is a through bolt with a nylock nut on one end. This nylock fits in a hexagon shaped hole there. Well, if it's in far enough, there is a hex to that, so that it holds the nut on that end, and you can tighten this end down. So that's a nylock nut, so that's a locking feature. If probably if you undo it one time, you're probably technically supposed to replace the nut, but this bolt right here, come on, focus. You can see there's a groove in there. And this bolt fits in it, or screw. So it's a double safety there with the nylock nut and this screw. So if this screw never comes out, that bolt can't come out. It doesn't matter if there's a nut on there or not, it's not going to come out. But if this screw doesn't come out, that nut can't back off all the way, because that bolt can't slide out and allow that nut to turn, because there's a hex shaped hole right there. And so yeah, it's a pretty well laid out that if this screw never comes out, you're not going to lose that spool there. And so it probably should have some blue Loctite on there. I think blue would be adequate for something like this, especially with the components all nice and clean. There's the spool there. It's keyed, so it only goes in one way. And sure enough, I think I'm going to have to remove this plastic thimble. Unless I press it hard enough. Let's see about getting some pliers. I don't want to tear up this nice aluminum too much, but we'll try gently at first. Aluminum's anodized and it's pretty hard, but of course you don't want to put any burrs on it. Seems like it'd be close. I'm going to go to intermission and see if I can get this. Alright, I'm back. I had to get a little bit medieval on this thing to get that red spool in there. It just barely fits, and so does the yoke on the carabiner. That plastic thimble, high wall thimble. That's about all this thing's going to accept. So let's get that. Like I say, the spool has a key in it, so it forces that spool to be in the position it's in, because there is a flat spot on it. That's probably no big reason except to maybe save a little more weight. Okay. Bolt is in there. Put the nylock on. And when they send this to you, it's all tightened down and made up, so that nylock is getting its first use right there. I'll just throw that. Why don't I? Okay. All right. Let's get that tightened down. Like I say, there's a hex in that hole right there, so I can tighten the screw with just one wrench. Well, I'll try. Gotta hold it down a little bit into that pocket. Okay. We'll snug it down just for fun. Put the lock screw in. It engages that grooved head on the bolt. Alright, that's not as easy as it looks with my fat fingers. And more than likely, well, good intentions anyway, I'll go back and once I find my blue Loctite, I'll get that Loctited up. 1 Newton meter. Better torque that. Click. Nice. Alright, how does it feel? Well, nice and compact. Might be a little bit small for some people. Ceros might be a better call for those that like a nice meaty carabiner or snap hook. these Ceros, that's pretty similar to typical snap hook. Yeah, I think that'll work. I mean, it's not flopping around in the breeze as much. I don't know, good or bad. I don't think that really matters. Guess we'll try it. Why not? Here's one I didn't really demonstrate, but here's a Petzl replaceable snap hook. You can open up that gate there by pulling that screw. Spool comes out, slip it on, screw back in. Probably the knock against this is just its overall length. It is getting to be pretty long, and so if you were to, you'd just be more likely to side load it if you start choking around cylindrical objects, the tree and whatnot. Yeah, I think I just bought that for cheap on one of my orders, actually from Europe. I've made a few orders from Europe to save some money sometimes, at least on Petzl equipment and some of the other brands. But yeah, if you got any comments on what you see here or any questions, I'll do what I can to help. Got any guiding principles or any wisdom you want to bestow upon me, feel free, and I'll see if it makes sense for what I'm doing. Yeah. Catch you guys later. Alright, let's finish up this video. As you can see, I got my snap hooks changed out. Pretty much changed over to these DMM directors with the yoke configuration. I mean, you can get them with swivels and some other nice features. But anyway, got them all changed out to pretty much the same thing. I was predominantly using a Petzl Xenon positioner, this lanyard right here. Me and my kids can use these others that have got the same snaps on everything, so it's easier to help them learn without having to learn different connectors at the end of the lanyards. But yeah, got all these changed out. It's always good to, I mean, it's not optimum to be modifying equipment because if something happens in the future, and even though this may not cause failure of the snap, it just gives manufacturers and legal people ways to weasel out of owning up for any possible manufacturing defects or deficiencies in their products. So if at all, run equipment as it was intended and don't be making modifications. That's how it is in the rigging world. As soon as you start modifying somebody's equipment, you just about own it yourselves, and you're kind of sort of waiving your rights for any sort of litigations in the future. At least that's how I see it. I mean, you use manufacturer's equipment as they tell you to use it. Of course, sometimes you have to use your better judgment. I mean, the overall safety does matter, and sometimes you gotta use judgment. Not everything is black and white and cut and dried in life. So anyway, nice snap hooks. Got 4 lanyards here ready to go back in action. I like the Petzl Xenon. I like these ARTs with the swivel. Yeah, they're premium equipment. I'm not a premium climber, but I've learned that sometimes having nice equipment does make things easier as a beginner climber, because sometimes you can get in positions to where it is almost impossible to release a standard rope grab. If you get into some weird situation, you're getting tired, or just like I say, it's hard to describe till you're in these situations, but sometimes you'll be thanking yourself that you went and got the premium equipment that just flat out works better sometimes. That's all I've got. Take care.